He demanded a paternity test, even though our son looks just like him. When the results came in, everything changed. Motherhood was never something I actively planned, but when it came, it was the most beautiful chaos I'd ever experienced. I'd always considered myself pragmatic, schedule-driven, emotionally stable, and careful with decisions. I was on birth control, I tracked my cycle, and I wasn't one to take chances. But life doesn't always go according to plan. One stomach virus and a weakened birth control pill later, I found myself staring at 2 pink lines in my bathroom mirror. Panic hit me first. My boyfriend, Mason, and I had been together for 3 years, and while things were good, we weren't exactly talking nurseries and onesies. I worried how he would react. Would he be angry? Would he accuse me of being reckless? But Mason surprised me. After the initial shock, he was supportive. Excited even. He went to appointments, helped paint the nursery, installed the car seat, and was by my side in the delivery room. When he held our son for the first time, he cried. I cried too, though hormones didn't need much of a reason back then. Mason had always been steady, practical, not overly romantic, but reliable. He wasn't the grand gesture kind of guy, but he showed up. Every single time. He changed diapers at 3 a.m. when I couldn't keep my eyes open. He figured out that bouncing on an exercise ball would calm our colicky newborn. He brought me meals when all I'd had were granola bars and cold coffee. In those first few months, we were surviving, but together. I felt lucky. Exhausted, sure, overwhelmed, but lucky, and then everything changed. It was a Friday evening. I remember it clearly because it was one of the few peaceful moments we'd had that week. Our son had finally gone down for a nap, and I was in the kitchen, tidying up. Mason came home from work, dropped his bag, and said casually, like he was asking what was for dinner, "I think we should get a paternity test." At first, I thought he was joking. I actually laughed. But when I turned to look at him, he was completely serious. It felt like someone had taken a brick and thrown it straight into my chest. "What?" I asked, my voice catching. "I just think it's something every man should do," he said. "I need to be sure." Our baby, the baby I carried, birthed, nursed, and hadn't left alone for more than an hour since he arrived, looked just like him. Same eyes, same smile, same chin dimple and cowlick. Even his own mother had commented on how identical they were, showing me baby photos of Mason like she was playing a spot the difference game. And yet he wanted a test. I couldn't speak at first. I just stared. "Mason," I finally managed, "do you think I cheated on you?" He shifted uncomfortably, avoiding eye contact. "It's not that, I don't have the same certainty you do. You know the baby's yours, you carried him. I need that same peace of mind." Peace of mind. I had shared my location with him during pregnancy, my idea for safety. I let him go through my phone. I didn't have close male friends because he used to make jokes when I did. Innocent messages like "happy birthday" from coworkers would prompt comments like, "Oh, is that your secret admirer?" I'd laughed it off back then. I thought he was being silly. But now I wondered, was it paranoia? Insecurity? Or had he just never trusted me to begin with? I didn't argue that night. I couldn't. I locked myself in the bathroom and cried while he lay in our bed, scrolling through his phone like nothing had happened. The next morning, he acted like everything was fine. He made coffee, asked if I wanted takeout for dinner, kissed our baby's forehead like the night before hadn't happened. I asked him again, calmly this time, why he thought this was necessary. He said, "It's just something I've been thinking about. I read a story online about a guy who raised kids that weren't his. I guess it freaked me out." I asked him if someone had said something to him, if something had happened to make him question me. He denied it. I asked if he thought I'd ever given him a reason not to trust me. "No," he said, "but this is different. This is about certainty." certainty. That word kept echoing in my mind. Eventually, I told him he could have his test. I had nothing to hide. But once that test came back and confirmed what I already knew, that Mason was our son's father, I was leaving. It wasn't about the test. It was about what it represented. The doubt, the lack of trust, the willingness to accuse me without cause of something so awful. I started quietly preparing, looking for apartments, reallocating my savings, researching lawyers. I even began documenting things just in case. Because once a man questions your character like that, you don't know what he'll question next. I couldn't tell my family or friends, not yet. My mom would never forgive him. My brother would probably want to punch him. And my best friend, who always had a bad feeling about Mason, would say, "I told you so." Number, this was mine to handle, alone. We scheduled the test at a licensed lab. No over-the-counter kits, no maybe results. I insisted on doing it properly. Mason thanked me. He seemed relieved even, like this test would somehow fix things. It didn't. 3 days later, the results came in. He opened the envelope. His hands were shaking. And there it was, 99.999% probability. He was the father. I watched his face. Relief washed over him like a wave. He smiled. "See? Now we can move on. We should celebrate. Want to order in? Maybe sushi?" I didn't respond. I just walked to our bedroom and closed the door. I curled up on the bed and sobbed, not because I was vindicated, but because he had doubted me. Because that relief in his eyes confirmed he had believed, truly believed our son might not be his. Things didn't get better after that. If anything, they got worse. Mason wanted to move forward. He said the test made us stronger. He started talking about marriage, more kids. Meanwhile, I was sleeping in the spare room, flinching when he reached for me. He didn't understand why I was still hurt. It was a reasonable request, he argued one night. "Reasonable?" I snapped. "You accused me of lying, cheating, and deceiving you for 9 months. You questioned my integrity as a partner and a mother. How is that reasonable?" He told me I was being hormonal, that I needed to let it go, that we had a family now and should focus on that. And then I found out he'd been telling people I was suffering from postpartum depression, that I was irrational, that he was the patient one, dealing with my mental instability. When I confronted him, he said, "I didn't want them to think badly of you." Translation: he didn't want them to think badly of him. That was the final straw. There was no dramatic fight, no screaming, no broken plates, just silence. I packed a bag, took our baby, and left. I moved into a rental property I'd kept under my name, filed for custody, communicated only through a co-parenting app that records everything. I changed my phone number. Mason's mother surprised me. She apologized for her son's behavior. She even offered to testify on my behalf if needed. She said, "I raised him better than this. I still cry sometimes. I still wonder if things could have been different." But then I remember the moment he asked for that test, the way he looked at me like a stranger. And I know I made the right choice. Because love without trust isn't love, it's control, it's fear. It's a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Therapy helped, so did time, so did my son's laughter and the way he holds my finger with his tiny hand. He doesn't know what happened. He doesn't know what I went through. All he knows is that mommy's here. I'm rebuilding. Slowly, brick by brick, emotion by emotion. And maybe someday, when he's old enough to ask why his parents don't live together, I'll tell him the truth. That love is important, but trust is everything.
I gave Mason my heart, my body, my loyalty, and my child, and all he gave me back was a paternity test.